Radio Sport.
If you believe the critics here, it has a similar feeling to the Super League ARL war of the mid-90s, a new rival V8 competition with drivers taking sides and fans asked to do the same. From an outsider looking in, it appears to have divided the motorsport base in New Zealand, even down media lines. Some are backing the new SuperTourers series, some are refusing to even acknowledge it, to even cover it. What is set in stone is this weekend it roars into action at Hampton Downs. Joining us now, one of the superstar ring-ins, Mr. Greg Murphy. Morning to you, Murph.
G'day, mate.
Are you guys responsible for dividing the sport, irreparably damaging the sport of V8s in this country?
Oh, geez, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? I mean, wow. Didn't expect to be attacked so heavily when I walked in. Listen, look,
Yes, you did.
I think it's a typical beat-up. You know, there are people that don't believe in what's going on here with SuperTourers. I mean, there's people that don't like change. Do humans like change? No, they don't. So this is all a bit new for everybody. And, you know, it actually is existing. It actually lives. There's a lot of people that just said that it was never going to happen. It wasn't going to come off. There's a lot of people putting a lot of roadblocks in the way. There was all sorts of stupidity going on, childish behaviour, trying to, you know, stop it from happening. And just because a few people want to do something different and do something good and do something right in New Zealand motorsport and actually do something sexy and put it out there for people to have the choice, all of a sudden there's a lot of people that say, well, what, you can't do that. Well, why the hell can't you do that? So we've done it. We've actually done it. There's 16 cars going to hit the track tomorrow. They did it last Friday. Brand new race cars, proper race cars with real drivers in them, and we're going to go racing.
So what's the problem here? Why are the old timers...
I don't know what the problem is.
What are the sticklers sitting back and saying this is just bad for the sport?
Well, it's not bad for the sport. It's the best thing that's ever happened to the sport in the country. I mean, we're creating a professional championship with proper race cars, proper teams that are going to go racing through a calendar season. And you know, and take the sport in New Zealand to a whole new level. That's what it's all about. Now, people are scared and against it because they're probably worried about their, you know, what they've been doing over the last however many years, and the old way of going about the car racing in New Zealand. You know, they're scared they're going to lose something. And surely there's no question that what we're creating is going to take sponsorship and take money from the New Zealand Championship that's existed over the summer series for many, many years. It's going to take it and it's going to come into this new championship, because why wouldn't anyone want to be involved?
This is some of the feedback I've had from motorsport fans.
Sure.
Just to get your thoughts. I love motorsport, writes Brian, in New Zealand, but it's way too small to have two V8 series competing against each other. So is this going to be survival of the fittest?
Well, yeah, probably will be. And I know what's going to win.
Why did this come about?
I wouldn't be here. I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be here doing this if I didn't believe in it. I wouldn't. I mean, I haven't raced in the New Zealand Championship since 1995, and there was no chance of me coming back to do and be involved in the current championships that exist in New Zealand. And this is something that when it was put on paper, when it was put in front, the whole concept of it was like, man, I've got to be a part of that.
What was the issue then? What was the problem with the old V8 series?
The old V8 series was fantastic up until the point where a bunch of competitors and team owners wanted something new.
So what's going to be different then from a fan perspective? What do fans and what should motorsport fans... Because I think this is the point here, Murph. There's a lot of confusion. I think...
Yes, there is. Yep.
There is a lot of confusion because fans are sitting back, even by the feedback I'm getting, saying, well, this is not good for the sport. I know what I like, and I've always liked turning up to Pookie and the tracks around the country watching it. Why have we got this new series? Why is there this divide?
The new series exists because some people didn't want to continue playing with the toys that were available to them in the current summer season, and they wanted to expand, they wanted to improve, they wanted to sex it up, and they wanted something new to go and more professional to go and play with, and that's what divided people and people in the sport. Some didn't want to change like this. Obviously, it's created a new expense to go and set up these new cars, buy these new cars. Some people are unable to do that. It's just the way it is. It's the way things roll, and you know, the guys that wanted to go and set this up have had a lot of support from the teams and the drivers that are getting involved in it. And at the end of the day, every champion of the NZ V8 series, which has been incredibly successful over so many years, every champion that's been over the last I don't know how many years is involved in the new SuperTourers Championship. So,
okay, the cars themselves then. How similar are they? Are we getting into the A1GP type of format where you've got a similar 16 cars that are very, very similar on the track?
Yep, very much. It's a one make chassis. All chassis are made by the same bloke in Australia, the guy that's in control of the car of the future for V8 SuperCars for next year. He's made the cars. So they're more of a control car. They've got the same engine in them, a 7-litre engine, V8 engine in them. Every single car is the same. They've got same suspension. Basically, they're a control car, and it comes down to the teams that are running them to create the difference, and the drivers driving them. So they're all brand new VE Commodores or FG Falcons.
How quick comparatively, okay, let's look at it, comparatively to the old V8s that we see racing around New Zealand and the V8s that you race in across the ditch?
Well, they're actually a lot closer to a V8 supercar. We're not 100% sure, but going by lap times that we've done out at Hampton Downs in a V8 supercar, these things, the new SuperTourers, are basically about the same speed as a supercar. Maybe it's slightly slow. Be within a second of a lap time. So versus an NZ-V8, I'm not sure, but 3, 4, 5 seconds a lap faster.
You mentioned the cost of these things, so give me a ballpark. If you're a new team and you're wanting to put one of these things on the track, woe to go, what are we talking here?
To buy the car, build it, and have it ready to go, we're looking around, I think, around 230 grand.
Wow, so is that sustainable in the current economic climate?
Well, it's always a setup cost. There's obviously always setup costs involved. The cars themselves are going to be incredibly efficient to run. The running costs of them, we haven't worked out 100% yet, but they're getting cheaper by the day. For every lap that we've done in testing, they're proving to be incredibly efficient and cheap to run, and that's where it's going to be beneficial, because the cars are going to be fast. They look fantastic on the road, but they're going to be cheap to run.
What's your expectation? What gauge are you getting in terms of motorsport fans turning up this weekend, Hampton Downs? I mean, for example, have you got any idea what sort of crowd numbers you'd be happy with?
Well, they've pre-sold on the internet 5,000 tickets.
Well,
so and then the gauge that we're getting from fans that I've talked to and that came to the test sessions that we've had out at the track. The gauge everyone's getting is that we're going to have a really good crowd, because people want to see something that's new, and I think there's a lot of, as you've said, there's been a lot of conjecture about it, and there's a lot of people not knowing exactly what's going on. There's been a bit of confusion, and now that the cars at the track last week, 16 cars on the track, people are seeing that it's real. It's going to happen. So I think we're going to get a great crowd, and this wasn't set out to be a war. This wasn't designed to go and piss anybody off. It was designed to go and create a new category with new cars that a bunch of, or a fair few, already competitors in the New Zealand series wanted to be a part of.
Well, the simple thing for me, Murph, you've got the best drivers.
Well, we have. Everyone's come because they want to drive the best cars. And that's as simple as that. Not everyone likes it, and we're not saying that everyone has to do what we've done. It's just this is what we wanted to do. And change is change, and people don't like it. So, you're going to get this kind of stuff. But, it's motorsport at the end of the day. We're not trying to divide anything. We just want to go and create something that we want to do. 8
minutes away from 8 o'clock, Murph. Next issue we need to look at. Tony Cochran on the program this morning. Basically, read between the lines. Pookie's not going to work. Whanuapi's gone. They can't make Hampton Downs. Hampton Downs haven't put a formal proposal to them. So essentially, June's the cut-off date. There is not an option on the table to keep this thing going.
Yeah, Tony's pretty negative about New Zealand at the moment. I had a chat with him the other day, and he didn't have much good to say. So he's a bit disillusioned about the whole thing and very disappointed about it. So I think he's a bit down in the dumps about the whole thing, which is a real worry for all of us. I think there are options.
Where though?
Well, I think we've got this amazing racetrack, Hampton Downs. There is definitely, without question, there is a few things that they have to work through to be able to make that happen. I've heard the talk about Pukekohe going back there. I know there's people backing that and trying to get that happen. And then there was the Whanuapi thing as well. Now I don't know where that's got to. So. I think someone's got to be able to. We've got to be able to put this together. I mean, it's a catastrophe if we don't make it happen. Well, clearly, the Hamilton thing didn't work. It hasn't been successful, which is disappointing. But there is a whole host of things that have let that down.
Who needs to fund this? Let's say it's an upgrade at Pukekohe, for example. Should the government step in here?
Well, it would be nice to think that they would. I mean, say it was Pukekohe, then it's a long-term investment, and it's a one-time investment into a facility to change it and upgrade it to, which is going to allow motorsport users all year round use that facility and use an upgraded facility, and which means that V8 supercars can come back there. I never thought that would be the case, but that that would end up talking about coming back to Pookie, but maybe that's something we've got to look at. So they've got to get behind it. The council's got to get behind it, and government's got to get behind it, and try and make this happen. I mean, it would be a real shame for for New Zealand not after 11, what is it, 10 years,
Yeah.
11 years not have a V8 supercar.
Okay, devil's advocate here. What about to those people who are listening this morning going, okay, it's tough times, Murph.
Yeah, it is.
Why should our taxpayer money be spent on a motorsport race?
Well, hey, it's always a good argument, I suppose, but at the end of the day, it does expose, there is amazing facts to show how much exposure the sport gets around the world. And if nothing else, we'll look what the World Cup did for Auckland and New Zealand as a whole. This gets, every year it gets a shitload of exposure around the world. And, if nothing else, that's got to be good for New Zealand itself.
Well, it will be, as you say, catastrophe, because I remember the days of Pookie when they're getting 90, 100,000. It was one of the biggest annual sporting events in New Zealand. No doubt about it.
No doubt. So if we don't get something back here, I'll be very disappointed.
Well, listen, great to see you. And
You too, mate.
I think you've explained the SuperTourers
Well,
very
maybe
well.
not, but I tried.
You tried?
Yeah.
You're looking good.
Yeah, thanks.
You've got some support here, by the way.
You'll be out in the weekend, won't you?
Always, you know me.
Yeah, big fan.
Get the black t-shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
I do miss Bathurst. Those times together, Murph, all those years ago.
That was special.
It's 7:55 Radio Sport.